Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah, welcome everyone to episode 204 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name's Tanner.
And my name's Tommy.
We're the co-hosts, or would you just say each of us are the hosts?
That's a good question. I'm sure someone in the showbiz arena could really tell us what the correct answer is.
Maybe we should have asked Michael Fahey last week.
He would know. He's
probably
got
the
that,
closest to the showbiz.
He knows how that
know.
movie magic stuff works.
Yeah, whatever you call it, that's what we are.
Yeah, there's someone, there's the leading actor, supporting actor, co-host. I don't know how it fits into the puzzle there.
No, I do know that we have sponsors for this show.
I like that.
This episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use our code MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps for 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they're always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. MASS20. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. Thank you, sponsors. Thinking of the sponsors, too, podcast I'd sampled out that I'd never listened before is Hybrids. I checked that out. They haven't been going for very long. I think they started towards the end of 2019.
Yeah, what are they up to, like 8 episodes or something like that?
There's 14, I think.
Oh, there's 14. Okay.
Popped up. And I listened to a few of them. I picked and chose a couple of them to listen to. It's called Hybrid Unlimited, and it's like Hayden and Steffi and then some of the other people around there, and then they've had some guests on. But I do like kind of their format of the show, and what I like about it, though, we do Overrated, Underrated at the end of our show. Almost always. We've got a few other segments that we mix in there, too. Who's the comedian that has the podcast? Chris D'Elia?
Yeah, Chris D'Elia, yeah.
What does he do at the end of it? Like Craig's... misconnections.
Yeah, he used to always read the Craigslist misconnections.
Yeah, at the end of Hybrid Unlimited, and I know that Steffi is and Hayden are fans.
Yeah,
of
they're big
Chris
fans.
D'Elia.
Yep.
At the end of Hybrid Unlimited, they do a Florida Man. The Florida Man thing. They go over a couple of recent Florida Man news articles.
Yeah, Florida Man. So they're keeping you up to date on what's going on down there.
Yeah, and since they're from Miami, it fits in really good with them.
It does make sense. Yeah.
But I like that as a little bit of a ending show.
You gotta have a segment,
thing.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta give the people a reason to come back, because this alone obviously doesn't do it.
Well, so they might not be as experienced in the podcast field as us. We've got 204.
You could say we're
now.
over 10 times more experienced than them.
But they are at least picking up on having that
tidbits.
end cap. Yeah,
they're not like us where it took them over 100 episodes to figure that out.
Right.
Some people just start in different places.
They did it at one, I guess.
Well, they got it all figured out.
Yep.
So what do we got going on this week, Tanner?
We got a lot of interesting stuff. Today's episode, we were going to talk a little bit about some big benching that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I had there's something else, a powerlifting meet coming up that I wanted to talk about that I forgot to even mention here. Something coming up in the world of powerlifting that's worth talking about. And then we're going to have a special guest today, of course.
Because you got to have a special guest.
We're going to have Brandon. Here's where I struggle. Calling someone by not their real name when you know what their name is. So that'll be something we'll have to ask him. Brandon Campbell. Mm-hmm. Actually, Brandon Diamond.
Yeah.
But that's he is like more so than anyone else really that I know that I follow in the fitness space, he has like this pseudo name or this stage
the
performer
alter
name.
alias.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like he has to get called Brandon Campbell all the time. I think a lot of people don't even realize that's.
Oh, I would assume. Yeah, it's probably rare for him to hear Brandon Diamond.
Right.
I would just assume that.
Yeah.
When it comes to the powerlifting world,
right.
Not his personal life, but
right. So that'll be fun to hear.
Maybe
his
we need
input
to
on
make
that.
some like alter egos, some aliases
It's funny though
to go by.
to have your last name be Diamond and choose to switch because that's such a
It's a good last name,
right. But what would you pick as a stage name? Do you?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that actually.
Yeah. That's like what's the show where the guy that smokes this will be my terrible description of this movie, and I bet you'll be able to guess it.
Is this a game right now?
Yes, this is basically a game. This is called like Tanner doesn't
really
know
bad at
actors'
describing
names, can't describe movies, but I bet you'll be able to guess it. Okay. So the guy that smokes all the time and has a scratchy, funny laugh, he's in a movie with a blonde chick, a good-looking blonde chick that he gets her pregnant.
A comedian or
Yeah, he's a comedian. And he gets this
like Seth Rogen.
And the movie
Knocked Up.
Okay, Knocked Up.
Yeah.
I think it's in that. Okay, so that's part one. We got that far.
Yeah.
I think it's in that movie, and I can't remember the names or who it was. It wasn't Seth Rogen. Maybe it was Seth Rogen, but I think it was someone else in that movie. Where they think his name is something, and he says, "Well, that's not my birth name. I changed my name." And it was funny because there was a conversation about, well, why would you change your name from that? Because that original name sounded more Hollywood than what you changed your name to.
Yeah.
Is that the right movie even? And do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I think I do remember. It's like because he had all those weird roommates.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're basically trying to build that website of where all the
porn star.
Yeah. No, they were trying. Where all celebrities got naked, and so it would be like they wanted to build a database of like, all right, in this movie at this second mark, this actress gets naked and like how naked they are. And then the guy's like, oh no, that already exists. And they've been working on it for years and they didn't know it was already a thing.
Well, it does definitely seem like that would exist, right?
Well, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be crazy to think that someone hadn't gone through the work of doing that. You
Well,
know?
since half of the internet is porn, I would assume that has been done.
Yeah, definitely.
But so you passed the game.
You know, that did remind me. I saw Superbad on TV this weekend, and I hadn't seen the movie in a long time. God, it's just a really funny movie.
It is. I watched it probably this year, relatively recently.
It had been years for me, but
it's funny how
a classic.
It's funny to me how old that movie is now. Where I'm like,
how old it is, and how actually. You know, because they're high school students, how much times have changed because they're like trying to talk on flip phones.
Right, I know. That's
like
what I was going
to. A somewhat central part of the movie. And
that's what I was going to bring up. The phones thing is what you noticed right away. You're like, man, this is an old movie. The way
they don't really even text each
other. No, they're not.
The whole. So that's all. It's a different time. It was a simpler time.
It is funny though too because I'm older than that yet, and that is like the culture that I grew up of say like high school or early college, like going and partying and stuff like that. People did not text.
Yeah, so
a lot of people didn't even have cell phones, so it was more like that. You had to plan it ahead. You're like, and I also live very rural, so it was like a lot of times you're going to be driving 10, 15, 20 miles, so you like had to plan these things well in advance and hope that it's going to work out.
Yeah,
but it's just text. When I was in high school or even the beginning of college, people did not text. And even when it did start when I was in college, it was 10 cents a message. So people were like, like it was a little bit more reserved at that point.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was in I don't remember ever hearing about anyone talking about actually texting until probably like my junior year of high school.
Yeah. And that's
and even then I had a lot of friends that didn't.
Right.
You know, it was
SMS text.
Yeah. Yep. And then once you could send pictures, I mean, the world was changed.
Yeah.
Full on potato pictures,
They were potato pictures. Somehow some people are still taking those pictures.
Like there are people out there. Yeah. I don't know how they do it, but somehow they make it happen.
It's like, how do you still have a phone that old that works?
Yes. It's a very good question. Tanner, It's time for a little beverage here.
All right.
And I'm gonna need you to look away because this one's gonna require me to prep it for 2 seconds here.
Okay. Do I have to plug my ears or anything?
No, you don't have to plug your ears. I just need to prepare. It's coming to you in a glass.
Oh, I'm gonna cover my line of sight,
I have to
so I
pour
can't
the
see
glass.
over to that way.
Now, listeners that have been with us for 4 episodes now will know that the last time we used a glass was episode 200.
Celebration.
And we busted out the bubbly and got a little wild with it.
So if it's in a glass, is this really a what's in the can segment?
Technically, it's still part of the what's in the can segment.
Okay.
But it doesn't completely follow by the rules. But because
It's
I
not
made the
actually
segment,
in a can.
because I made the segment, I can make the rules.
That's
It's
true.
Also how it works.
And that is one of Arnold's rules, is that you break some rules.
Did we just post that? Was that last week?
Yeah. I mean, it is a recycled one that we've used before.
A lot of people have fun with those
Yeah.
with those rules. Okay. So I have the glass here.
Oh, I can look at the glass.
You can look at the glass.
Oh.
That might have given it away though. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
so I've given Tanner a glass of some type of liquid.
It doesn't smell like what I thought it would. I don't know what I thought it was going to smell like by looking at it, but it doesn't smell like what I thought it was going to smell like.
Yeah, me either. Bottoms up,
I guess.
It's my first time tasting this too.
It is. Okay.
So I can't.
Normally I struggle with what's in the can, trying to figure out what flavor sparkling water it is. This, I'm going to struggle to even tell you what genre of beverages this is in.
I will tell you right now that I would never have ever guessed this. I've never tasted it until right now, and I would not have known what this was.
The first thing I would address that I don't know for sure is if it has alcohol in it or not.
I will tell you it does not.
Okay, because I was really you could tell me either one and I would.
It does not.
Okay.
But I can see actually how that would be concern number one if you're not in the know on what it is.
I'm almost surprised it doesn't have. If you would have made me guess, I would have almost said that it would probably did have alcohol in it. Well, the only reason I would say this is because we talked about it last week was Spindrift. Is this a Spindrift?
It is not Spindrift.
Because I don't know what Spindrift is either. So.
I don't. Yeah.
So I was like,
I had already forgot
maybe
about
this
that.
is a Spindrift.
The beverage, I don't know. Yeah. Nope. It is not a Spindrift. That is a good guess though.
This is something more than just a sparkling water, though, right? Like this has way more.
There's more going
kick
on
to it.
There is more going on. You're correct.
Like this has to have some sugar or something in it. I would think.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the bottle to actually be able to tell you. We'll find that. We're gonna find that out in just a few seconds here.
If I'm just talking about flavor, let me see if I could even just pick a flavor out. I do not recognize a flavor.
I will tell you, I read the flavor
Pineapple
on the bottle.
or something?
I will tell you, I read the flavor on the bottle. I would not agree that that is the correct flavor.
Pineapple or orange juice or some citrus fruit.
It's along those lines, yes.
Okay, that's my best guess at what this even is. I do not know. This is really hard. It has carbonation, I think, right?
I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Are you ready for what
Yeah,
it is?
yeah. I do not know.
So this is
a
bottle of lemonade.
Kombucha.
Yeah, I think we're both gonna say it wrong. Is it kombucha? Kombucha?
Oh,
I don't even know how the hell you say it.
no.
But I had my brother was talking about this the other day, and I remember Tyler talking about it occasionally too. And I was at the grocery store and I saw it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this will stump Tanner.
Yeah.
And here it is.
This makes a lot of sense why I had why I felt like I was drinking something I've never drank before.
Because I was stuff fermented or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, kombucha has been featured in Massenomics Versus against, I think, maybe Kabuki Strength.
I think you are right. Yeah.
So I do know that it's fermented because that was one of the
a fermented tea crafted with a living culture.
Yes.
Known as a SCOBY.
Yes. SCOBY was also, and that rings true to me because SCOBY was also in Massenomics Versus.
Wow. Known as some Asian cultures as the tea of immortality.
I hope so.
So I guess we've had it for the first time now.
It really does make sense though that I wouldn't know like why this would seem like such a foreign like where I'm like, God, I don't know what
it's kind of sort of carbonated, but not quite, and it kind of sort of tastes like fruit, but not really.
But it also kind of smells like apple cider vinegar or something like that.
It has like a vinegar smell, which I think that's probably where the fermentation's coming in. Which is also like, is that where the alcohol flavor,
right?
Or is that where the alcohol,
right?
You know.
So the most basic question: is it good? Do you think it tastes good?
You know, I think it tastes better than it smells.
Yeah,
I will say that. Actually, judging because I hadn't tasted it until right now, judging by how it smelled, I thought it was going to taste awful.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was terrible. This is the lemonade flavor. Maybe original.
I would say thank God for the lemonade flavor because I think it might taste bad if it didn't have some flavoring.
Yeah. I don't think I would ever probably buy one again, but it's also not the worst thing. I
don't think I could finish that bottle.
I don't think I could finish a bottle.
If you I would have a stomachache, I think, if I finished that entire bottle.
I think so too. Probably it's not so off-putting. Like, have you ever had it's not. What's it? Is it kefir? Is that what it is? Have you ever had
I've never had that. No.
Oh, I remember Mark Bell used to have like a thing where he would go off about it, like,
that it's good.
Yeah, you drink it and it's your protein and your probiotics and all this stuff. And I remember I bought a bottle and I literally could not finish it. Like, I think it was like a half gallon.
That it was that bad.
And I worked through it and it was just like drinking sour milk. I could not finish the thing. It was like, that was bad. So maybe I'll do that sometime. You would just literally think I served you sour milk, though. You'd be like, "Oh, this is a prank," because who would drink this?
Right.
But yeah, that's how bad that is.
So we have to give it a number of JD Power and Associates trophies out of 5.
I think I would give it 2 JD Power and Associates.
Your lowest ever.
That is my lowest ever. Yeah.
Based on the fact that I know,
can we give something 0? I don't know.
Nothing
1 or
gets 0.
Okay, then it's 2. Then it's 2. Then it's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's 2.
I mean, JD Power and Associates doesn't just not give out trophies.
You do have a point.
Things.
They give those things away to everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a 2. This is a 2 one for sure.
I'm keep thinking about the fact that if I had a whole bottle of that, I would struggle to finish it. And there's not many liquids that I could not would not enjoy finishing an entire bottle of. So I'm going to give it like a 1.5 because it doesn't taste. You said off-putting. It's not off-putting. Just like what you said, it's not like repulsing me.
What does Michael Scott say? A smoky afterbirth that you'll find challenging yet rewarding. Like a good way to describe this thing.
Yes. I'll give it 1.5.
Okay.
So this is officially our lowest.
It's a record. Ever. It's a record performance out of that thing.
But we also kind of are a LaCroix podcast.
We are. I mean, we don't just take any beverage up in here.
No. We mix in a little Bubbly, a little Waterloo.
All the good stuff. Yeah. But Julius Maddox. The bench god himself.
Yeah, he done did it again.
He really did.
Oops, he did it again.
And I kind of feel like this is almost turned into almost like an every other or every third week thing on the podcast.
Yeah.
We almost need like a chart on the wall with like
Julius,
like
all
those,
the various milestones.
It'll be like those thermometers, and it'll start at 100.
And at the 800
the top of the thermometer will be the 800.
Yeah.
And just every week we'll just put his picture up a little higher.
His will kind of start with like breaking the world record, re-breaking the world record, benching 750 pounds, benching 8 plates, 765 pounds.
Yeah,
benching
it's like
775, benching 800.
That's ready to pop.
Yeah,
once he gets to the 800, his head goes to the top, and we know that he did it. I don't think that's out of reach.
No,
it was 765.
765, right? Which is 8 plates on each side of the barbell,
which is also more than almost anyone squats or deadlifts.
That's what you have to say when someone says 8 plate bench. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah. That is more than most people that I consider to be very strong than what most people consider to be very strong can squat or deadlift.
Yeah.
Like if someone is squatting and or deadlifting 765, that is a strong human being.
Yes, it is.
Very strong.
But when they bench it, they're even a little more strong.
That's like not a human being when they bench 8 plates. 8 plates on each side of the bar. That is just crazy. 4 plates. 4 plates on each side of the bar I consider to be a pretty big, a pretty big milestone.
Someone that knows their way around the gym.
Right.
Like, that didn't happen on accident.
And he has double the amount of plates on there.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it still moves really fast.
It was a really good lift.
Really fast.
Yeah, it was a really good lift. It's interesting how he puts his feet up on
I was kind of surprised by that too. Is he on like a fat pad?
I can't remember what that bench is that he's in that.
Yeah,
with like the orange background.
Yeah, I was thinking for some reason in my mind that he had a fat pad, and then I was like, okay, well that makes sense because it is like an inch or two higher.
It is a little bit higher, but his feet are really pretty high up there.
They are,
and also his feet are not tucked back, at all.
They are not.
Which I don't know, man. His form is not good. I just would like to correct all of his form. It's obviously not working for him.
The fat pad's the only bench Rogue makes that has that red on the side.
I think so. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, his feet are not tucked back very far either.
No,
they're almost just dangling down.
If only we could have a few sessions with him, he could be even better than the best.
And obviously, we're joking that Julius Maddox probably knows what he's doing. Probably.
Wow.
So he did do 765. I wonder what is the next stepping stone? I wonder.
775.
Yeah, nothing is all that interesting now
until 800. Yeah, it's like 800. You just kind of like you don't want to say doomed yourself, but also everything else seems insignificant.
It does kind of because it's and also no one's close, so it's like who does 765 or 775? It doesn't really matter. Nobody else is catching it.
Yeah, no one wants to see you chip your own record.
Yeah, right.
That's not exciting for anyone.
But then what happens when he benches 800? Does powerlifting just stop? They're like, all right, someone did it.
They close it up for a year. Like that's it. That's the end of it.
Somebody did it. It is just insane.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's the craziest thing going on in lifting right now of any strength sport is Julius Maddox benching.
Oh, I don't know what else would compete with that.
Yeah.
Nothing else competes with that. I did see Thor did say last week that he's going to do. Did you see that? He was going to do. I don't even know what the competition is, but it will be a deadlift suit, axle straps with calibrated plates.
So he's going to go for.
Yep, and he said
Eddie Hall's record.
Yeah, because he even said he goes, I want to. He had a post. I'm going to paraphrase, but he basically said, I want to remove all doubt from this. He said with the elephant bar, he said, I might not break it. And even if I do, there's that comparison. And he also said with the elephant bar, that's our second day. So I'm already going in fatigued. I'm not at 100%. So he said, there's a good chance that I can't break it because of that too.
That's pretty realistic.
Yeah, it is. And so he basically said that he wants to make a real shot at it. And I can't remember what the competition is, but so because of that, he's not doing Europe's Strongest Man, which I think he's had that title. Or did Mateus take it last year?
I don't remember.
I forget how. I forget how all that goes.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's a more fair comparison with Eddie though too, because when Eddie did that, Eddie was trying to do that. He was when he went for that 1100 deadlift. I think it was part of Europe's Strongest Man.
Well, and then he didn't a Giants Live thing.
Yeah, but then he didn't even compete in the rest of the competition. I don't think he just did the deadlift, and I think it's more fair for Thor if he's really wants to try and do it, that if he just focuses on that and tries to achieve that.
Yeah,
and I would say he's probably gonna. I feel like he's probably gonna do it if he does that. If he sets out to do that and is focusing strictly on that. By the way his training has looked, I feel like if someone's going to do it, it'll be him. And
come very, very close.
And that would be exciting to watch, knowing that Thor is just going and
training just for that.
Right, because at the Arnold, it's exactly like he said. If he goes, he'll probably break his elephant bar world record.
It wouldn't be crazy at all to do 1070 or more.
And he's probably smart in making that announcement before the Arnold anyways, because people, it's almost kind of curb the expectation, because otherwise I think everyone just wants to see him do 1,100 pounds. But if he said he's going to do that later, then it's okay, coming, yeah.
This isn't it. You don't have to wait another year to see a big deadlift attempt.
Right.
So we got that to look forward to.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Super cute.
Very, very cool. Should we do some ads?
Yeah, let's do some
freaking ads. All right. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large sets the new standard for customer service within the strength world. Get email responses in hours, not days. They now have live website chat support available during the weekdays so you can get advice from a real powerlifter with actual platform experience. The Lifting Large team wants to help you achieve new PRs in the gym and on the competition stage. When you're ready to try single ply and make your way to the dark side, give them a call. Lifting Large is the home of the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and it's always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. That's MASS20 to save 20% on all Lifting Large branded items. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's liftinglarge.com. And the Massenomics podcast is also brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Spud Inc. axle straps. Measuring in at 30 inches in length, no axle bar is too girthy or thick for these straps. Built from their incredibly strong woven nylon, you won't be able to blame these straps when you miss a lift in front of all of your used-to-be friends. These straps are backed with a lifetime warranty, and custom strap lengths are also available for those people that really want to dial in their strap length to wrap ratio. Yep.
It's all about the ratio.
It is
really
always about the ratio. Everything's about the ratio. Check out the Spud Inc. axle straps online at spud-inc-straps.com. And this episode is also brought to you by the Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle, instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS in all caps for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Thank you to our sponsors.
And we did ask, I think maybe last episode we brought it up too, but if anyone out there has started to use Hybrid Performance methods for training or nutrition,
and we know there are quite a few people that have.
Yes, we would love to hear from you, hear about your results. Maybe if you've made some progress, before and after pictures, even if you want to send them.
I want to think we probably got the most impressive testimonial from them that we've got out of anyone so far with, I don't even remember the guy's name now, but he had some pretty significant weight loss and strength gain over a, not an incredibly long period of time. I think it was less than a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it's always interesting, the people that give us also credit for their progress too, giving Massenomics credit for it,
which to me is just not due at all.
All right, and now I believe we have our special guest for this episode on the line. Special guest, are you there?
Hey, I am here. What is happening?
All right, we're happy to have you on.
Tanner and Tommy, I'm coming live from the basement, of course.
Well, from one basement to another. Welcome.
Yeah, you might not know, we also record from Tommy's basement, so we're kind of brethren.
That is not surprising, actually.
Hey, our first thing we had to get out of the way right away, we actually talked about it a little bit when we started this episode, is your name. It's interesting in fitness that you... What are you most used to hearing when it comes to the fitness space? Does everyone call you Brandon Campbell?
Yeah, so almost everybody calls me Brandon Campbell. And then a couple of years into this whole thing, when I actually started using my last name, which is Diamond, people thought it was like a stage name or something like that. And I always have the funny anecdote that if they think my name's a funny stage name, they should meet my dad, whose name is Dick. So Dick Diamond, everybody.
And that's true. Does he go by Dick or Richard?
Yeah, sure. So, he goes by Dick.
Okay. Wow.
His family members call him Dickie. So.
Okay. And he doesn't do porn for sure.
Well, I cannot confirm nor deny those.
God, that is a name though. Dick Diamond.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is impressive. But so you've become
Hey, long distinguished military career, so it's technically Captain Dick Diamond.
Even better all the time.
Every layer is a little bit better than the one before it. So you're really used to hearing Brandon Campbell. If someone says that, you don't hesitate twice. You would turn your head just like you would if someone said Brandon Diamond.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when I first started the whole YouTube thing like a decade ago, I used my middle name, which is Campbell, as just kind of my screen name because the internet and putting yourself up on video, working out and or sometimes doing stuff without a shirt on is not something that was as widely as accepted as it is today. I don't know if that's a good
how the
thing or a bad
times
thing.
change, right?
Yeah. See, now these days, that's what you have to do in order to get views.
Right. You're almost not accepted if your shirt is on. And that's kind of the problem, I guess. So you said it there. How long have you been on YouTube? We saw you have over 1,000 YouTube videos. Are you aware that you've done that many?
So I actually have done many more than that, just not all are necessarily public. I had a little, it's funny because I had one of those reminders on Facebook, that something happened a couple years ago. And one of the things that I did and I do still is I put up a lot of just my weekly training recaps. And as part of that, I probably have literally 3 years worth of content that I was putting up just to share with my coaches or just for myself to go back and reflect on. And for one reason or another, one day I decided to just make some public because I thought some other people might like to see them and hear some insight. And it literally spammed everybody's feed with probably like 200 videos for me within the span of 5 seconds. And I think I lost somewhere between like 3,000 and 5,000 subscribers when I did that.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of video content. I'd say of those 1,000 plus videos, there's probably like 5 that are somewhat decent and not too cringy. But I got into the whole YouTube thing probably in like 2009 or so when the biggest names out there were like Scooby. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his work. Highly recommend it.
I'm not.
Don't look it up. It's a man that's older than I am, probably balder than I am, and very much so shirtless and like a Gilligan hat in his backyard in California, showing you how to do like different weightlifting movements. So very interesting.
Is he
probably a little bit of
around
my inspiration from
anymore?
there.
Is he around at all?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
I think so, but I'm not going to go ahead and search for him because that was one of the things that was tough in the days and probably was easier to get started 10 years ago because there wasn't as many people in the space that there is now. But if you get caught watching a video of a 50-year-old man with his shirt off training in his backyard, people might not necessarily think the most of you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy though. Like the fact that you have been doing this for as long as you have. And when I think back on when I was first getting into watching people lift on YouTube, you were one of the first people I came across. And you're also to this day, one of the few people I still even have a remote interest in. Like so many of the people I got burnt out on years and years ago, but for whatever reason, man, I gotta keep up on my Brandon Campbell.
I don't know if I should say thank you or I'm sorry.
I agree though. I'm in the same boat. And part of it, I wonder why is maybe partly is because of your age and the way that the videos come out that I just am more interested in it in that way. Do you think that's true?
It might be I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's because you're also not like chasing fads and monetization and things like that. Like you're not doing clickbaity, gimmicky stuff. That's probably a big part of it too, I would think.
I attribute it more to if you've ever heard someone say that they should throw like your average Joe in the Olympics in any event so you can see, how good everyone else is. I feel like that's my space. I'm like, people watch me and they go, I could do that.
Very relatable.
Do you know what the analytics are on your followers at all? Like whether they age-wise, do you have any statistics on that of what they fall into?
So I do. So I think I have like the prime demographic of like 25 to 35-year-old people. I'd say people, but my audience is 96% men. Which I have no problems with. But yeah, in that range, and it's kind of a sad thing that one of the most common comments that I get from people is like, oh, we like you because you're natural because of how you look and what weight you're actually lifting. So it's like these backhanded.
I love a good backhanded compliment. Thank you.
So no one questions me there. So that's a good thing, I suppose.
Yeah. So you're turning 40 in 2020, or it's coming up within a year? I know you've mentioned that a few times that you're lifting and looking at some numbers to hit by the time you're 40.
Yeah. So since I am a Massenomics podcast enthusiast, I have watched over 5 episodes, of course.
That does qualify you as enthusiast.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm a January birthday, but I believe, Tanner, you're the 24th.
Yes,
right?
That's right. And Michael, I think, was the 18th. Did he say?
Yep. Yep. And I am the 7th. So 2021. So I just turned 39. So I have about another 11 months to go before I can do some USAPL Masters 1 division lifting. And that's basically my goal for powerlifting, is just outlive everybody until there's no competition.
That's our goal with this podcast.
So far it's been mildly successful in that way.
Well, am I number 205? Are you guys
204? 204.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. We waited a while to have you on, but the suspense has been killing people, and they demanded that it happened by 204, or else we're going to start losing subscribers and downloaders.
I feel you. I got to say, this is the first podcast that I've actually agreed to be a part of.
Wow.
I was wondering that. I listened to quite a few podcasts in the strength and fitness realm, and I had never heard you before, and I thought that was kind of odd that I hadn't heard you on any others. But you've done some YouTube collaborations though in the past. You did some of that, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago it made more sense to do a lot of that stuff, just because that was an easy way to basically pilfer other people's channels for subscribers.
Yeah.
When it comes to podcasts, I'm more of a visual person, so the fact you guys put these up on your channel too, I appreciate. In fact, I actually had to go into the office for my real job that doesn't really require me to go into the office that much anymore, but I had the episode 203 up and running to catch up to speed. But I think besides maybe Mark Bell's podcast, which I don't really pay that much attention to anymore since they kind of had a falling out with some of their other co-hosts, you guys have become my podcast of choice, and that's mainly because I don't listen to anything else. So you guys have no competition when it comes to that.
We are, on that note, I think we are going to have Jim McDonald coming up soon, and I haven't talked to him too much about it yet, but I'm curious to see how much he is or is not going to want to discuss.
Willing
some
to
of
disclose,
that. Yeah, publicly at least. So I'll be. You might want to.
My guess is slim to none.
Yeah, I know, but we might, in a friendly way, just kind of push him on it just a little bit. So we'll see if we can get anything out of him. Okay, you brought up a bunch of the things there that I kind of want to wrap up into one question for you. You have your own real job, a very real job, and I don't think you talk about that all that much in your YouTube fitness life, and probably for a reason. And also you have a family and children and building a new house and YouTube and everything. Is it tough for you to keep going on your content creation, on your Instagram fitness, your YouTube fitness, when you kind of have a life that's really full outside of that, like a
obligations?
Yeah, and also just probably like a fulfilling life outside of it too, where you don't you wouldn't need this. It's just a portion of your life versus a huge part of it, like it would be for some people. Is that a challenge to keep going because of that?
Yeah, I think part of it is that it's still, and always has been, more of a hobby for me helps, so I don't feel like pressure to do stuff. I think a big part of it too is the type of content that I've kind of shifted to as of late, which tends to be, I think I'm still good for like 2 videos a week, one of which is just usually a training log, which surprisingly some people just like to watch training and hear me talk about how things are going, whether that be for motivation or insight or just to kind of relate. And another one, what I've been doing recently is just a lot of reviews on equipment, which is a big departure from when I initially started my channel 10 years ago, which was basically, I was very involved in the bodybuilding.com forums when forums were still a very big and popular thing. Yeah. And they used to do these things on the forums, which was like they had a supplement forum, and they would basically outreach to people to try to basically take a supplement, review it for free, and just kind of post their feedback on the bodybuilding.com forums. That was a big thing. And I was like, hey, you know what? If I can do maybe a video review of supplements instead, because like most people, I turn to YouTube for most of my information when I want to learn something. I was like, I can get a leg up on this competition. So I initially got into YouTube, specifically making supplement reviews in an effort to get free supplements. And then that led to people who started to watch, then asking, oh, well, what do you do for nutrition? What do you do for training? And it kind of snowballed from there. And then as YouTube got really, really popular and there a lot more stronger and smarter people got on YouTube, I kind of tried to find my niche elsewhere, which for me has been just basically taking the, I guess, average man approach and reviewing equipment and whatnot. But long story short to your question, I don't find it hard to create content, mostly because the content isn't that great. I don't spend a lot of time in editing. I have a very quick turnaround process. And to be honest, for a lot of people, I just don't think they're efficient in what they do. So I have a lot of friends that do it full time, and they tell me how long editing and stuff like that takes. And it's usually just because they haven't found out a way to do it more effectively and efficiently. And I think I've found the lazy man's kind of in between where I can still do a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't think your production quality is lacking by any means compared to any other channel that I watch. No. Like those aren't things that come to mind when I watch it that you're lacking by any means.
You're not watching enough fitness vlogs.
Well, it's probably true, but
maybe
that we're not watching that much more. But because really yours and Alan Thrall's are the two that I regularly keep up on, and his is the same way. Like I think he has excellent quality and continues to do cool stuff.
Yeah, Alan's awesome. He's very underrated too when it comes to the comedic department. He's a funny guy in all his videos, even though his budgets are almost, I mean, his videos are almost low budget and poorly edited.
But like to his advantage.
It's just like overly funny. Right. Exactly right. It's like campy more than anything. And he does a good job with that.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten offered to be sent any pieces of equipment that you've turned down now that you're doing more and more reviews?
Yeah. So as of late, it's been all these massage guns. Like I can't tell you how many emails I get for a week, and they're all imported, which is not necessarily a big deal. But I get a lot of that stuff. I've gotten, opportunities to do some of those Jawser-sized things where it's basically just a rubber ball that you chew and you make your jaw
we've
stronger.
talked about that before. Yeah.
And so a lot of things, and for the most part, like if it's something that I know I won't like or I won't use, I just tell them no or just hit delete. So there's certain for me, for the most part, I'm interested in more like strength training type equipment. So I won't turn down a barbell necessarily,
right.
Or other bigger equipment when it comes to it. But usually it's at the caveat that I'm just gonna basically shoot from the hip and say if I like it or don't like it. So as long as they're fine with that, usually works out pretty well.
Is there have you came across people that are saying, we don't want like a real honest review, so we're going to pass?
Oh, I've definitely had that where someone sent me something and I've gone back to them and said, hey, look, I can do this review for you, but to be honest, I didn't like it. I'm not going to recommend it. And some people will say, no, we appreciate that. We won't go forward with it. But on the other hand, so speaking of massage guns, I did one recently where I did a review on it. And in the video, I'm like, I would never use this. I haven't found that I used it, but if you want to use it, here's a link. And it actually a lot of people ended up buying it for some reason. So even if I say that,
it's the old reverse psychology trick. You don't want this.
Right. Yeah. And then of course you get the common people calling me a sellout. I'm like, I don't know how I'm selling it. I told you I wouldn't buy it. So it's always an interesting phase.
I don't think anyone sells out less as far in YouTube fitness space that I've ever seen. Like that's crazy for that claim. How close do you watch the YouTube comments?
So I am kind of anal when it comes to that, and I can say probably in the 10 years or so I've been putting up videos, I don't think I've ever not responded to an initial comment. So sometimes if it gets into like 10 comments and 10 replies on the same thing, eventually I'll need to be like, all right, I need to stop replying because I get really anal when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, as long as it's not like blocked by spam or something like that, then I'll always reply. So I stay on top of that pretty well. I should say.
That's funny that you say that because Tanner, I'm sure you remember this. This was in the very, very early days of Massenomics. So probably about 5 years ago now, before it was like anything at all.
Yeah.
It was actually just the two of us. We did a meet together and we did a meet video. And in the video on YouTube, you left the comment. I think you said like, "Good work, guys."
Yeah.
And I remember that. And at the time, we were so jacked, like, "Whoa, Brandon Campbell left a comment on a Massenomics video. That's insane."
Yeah.
And here we are 5 years later.
We've made it.
And you're calling me Brandon Campbell, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go. I guess that answers
exactly.
all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Things come full circle.
Yeah. Yep. I do think, you were talking about your content creation being fairly easy for you compared to others. To me, it seems like part of that is probably because of the way you can speak with the camera, that it doesn't look like you hardly ever have to make a cut. And it kind of almost, you get the feeling watching it that you get it right on the first take every time, and it's good to go, that you're just naturally good at that. Is that from your career that you're good at that, or where does that come from?
Yeah, I think part of it is. So like, since I got out of school, which is 2004, so 16 years now, I've been involved usually in the corporate training side of things, typically for high-tech companies. So I do have to get up and speak to people. But I think a lot of it has just been, after you make, as you guys already mentioned, over 1,000 YouTube videos, you get more comfortable talking to a camera. But I also think a lot of it is some of the stuff that people are saying on YouTube. It's almost more of like they're like almost like a parrot, where they're not really comfortable with the content or concepts, but they want to get out a certain video on a certain topic, and they end up just kind of basically researching right beforehand. And that's when you see like a bunch of jump cuts or something like that, just because they're not fully versed on the topic. So that's why the key thing here is don't have a plan, just go in and just make stuff up as you go, like I do. And if you ever come into a point where you need to go, or I just have the tendency instead to make an inappropriate comment or like some sort of sexual innuendo.
That's what she said.
And just kind of bridges the gap pretty well. Exactly right.
Yeah, that's good. That's sage advice. I mean, it's kind of what we practice with 204 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we're 200 episodes deep, and we've never edited an episode, actually had to cut chunks out. It's just you just go with it,
Oh, that makes sense.
And it shows.
Yeah. Saves time. Yeah.
Ours not in such a good way, but it still shows. Brandon, are you familiar at all with our overrated, underrated game?
I am very familiar with the overrated, underrated game.
Excellent.
I've been a constant participator on Instagram, so I'm in it to win it here.
Even better.
Good.
I like sharing my opinion, or as some may say, my druthers.
Aha!
There's
the true
keyword.
test, because usually most of the people we bring on, they'll say that they are familiar with it. If they name drop druthers, we know that they really are familiar with it, and it's not just
they're not a casual viewer at that point.
The tricky part for you, because you also do play along on Instagram, is that you're going to have to try and remember how you answered it in the podcast and answer it the same on Instagram. Oftentimes, Tommy would maybe answer differently on Instagram than he does in
it's
in
those
the
ones
show.
where you're really splitting the line and you're not completely sure. It's hard to remember which way you vote sometimes.
But we did prepare a special.
I'm
go
good.
ahead.
I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm
good.
very opinionated.
All right, good. And we did prepare a special one just for you, so you'll probably like these topics. Topic number 1: overrated or underrated? Reebok TR lights.
So I would say the TR lights are underrated. And I say that because they've now become the power shoe, which I think are overrated. So the TR lights, which were released probably like 4 or 5 years ago, kind of a joint project between Mark Bell and Jesse Burdick. Although from what I've heard from talking with them, that they were just more consultants. And by the way, quick shout out to you guys. Thank you for interviewing Jesse at the Arnold and getting some of that information out about those.
I remember that video that we made it into of yours, where you used our clip of ours.
We were pretty jacked about that.
We were pretty excited about that.
Yeah, you guys are doing God's work out there. I'll tell you what. But the thing with the TR lights is when they first came out, there was never really a dedicated powerlifting shoe, and they were very close to that. They were basically like an upgrade over Chuck Taylor's. They were a little bit more expensive at like $80 to $90, and the initial ones, which were like the black leather, looked like a dominatrix boot almost. But if you talk to anyone out there who had them or even still has them, there's like a cult following with them that they're a really beloved shoe. So what does Reebok do? They come out and they rebrand it. They take off all the CrossFit stuff on it, which would in theory be a good thing, but they somehow managed to make them uglier, which was very hard to do because the originals were so ugly. And they also managed to jack the price up to like $120 without changing anything else in the shoe. So answer your question, original TR lights, especially the low versions, by the way, underrated. The new ones that are now out, overrated for sure.
I think I would agree with that.
You still wear your TR
we
lights,
both wear the high tops. We have the high tops. I actually have some people, you gotta be a fan of the TR light to know that there was a version 2 where they stripped down a lot of the, do you remember that?
Yes, I do. So the problem with the versions 2 that I had is for those shoes, I typically wear a 12.5, and the version 2s, they just did away with the 12.5, so it was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the 13s I went with were like really stiff, and they just didn't really fit right. So I had some, and I ended up reselling them for almost what I paid for them. So that was not necessarily
okay. See, I remember actually we were getting done with the powerlifting meet, and for some reason, I think I got like an email notification from Reebok saying, 40% off something. And I went on the website, the TR lights, the version 2 at that time, they had like a light gray and a dark gray, and you could get them for like $40. Yep. I bought a pair. I think Tanner, you bought 2, didn't you?
Well, I have my black version 1s that I wear with the black with like the turquoise sole. And then I still have a mint in box pair of the 2s that I have never, that I'm waiting for someday to bust out. Yeah. Yeah. But
that's on the downside. Like they have these great shoes, and then they make the worst possible color combinations possible. Like they couldn't just come out with
keep it simple,
a gray, a black. Exactly right.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure.
I do like the shoe though, man. I wish they still made like a better version of it.
Yes. And not
like the new ones that came out now are that blue camouflage one. I think it's still available online, and they're just hideous.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I don't like those colors. They're just terrible. But your final answer though is underrated on the TR lights.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's booked. Topic number 2: overrated or underrated bench arches.
I can't. So with all these videos that I talked about, where a lot of them are training, I can't tell you how many times people ask me why I'm not arching or why I don't arch more. It's just, believe me, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
I would say bench arching is, I would say, overrated in the sense that I think a lot of people outside of powerlifting think that it's cheating and it's not a real bench press. Luckily for me, I've taken that and kind of ran with it, and I just tell people I'm specifically basically doing a flat back bench for more range of motion and hypertrophy. But in reality, I just can't do it. But I do think it's I don't remember what I said. I think it's underrated in the fact. Did I say underrated or overrated? You guys got to take couple here.
Yeah, it's your druthers. You can say whatever you think you want to do.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I could go either way on this. I guess it depends on who you're talking to in this case. So I would say overrated. I think that's what I said initially.
Okay.
Only because, again, people think just because you have a big arch, you automatically can bench more and you're cheating, but that's definitely not the case. And the people who are still arching a ton and benching a ton, even if they didn't have as big of an arch, they still have to be ridiculously strong, and it doesn't necessarily just add pounds to your bench necessarily.
Julius Maddox doesn't have a big arch.
I think I'll go with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so I'm actually friendly with Sean Noriega, who's probably the biggest defender of this when it comes to everyone kind of giving him shit. The dude has crazy flexibility for sure, and it definitely helps with that smaller range of motion, but he's still a ridiculously strong person anyway. So again, I think if you're outside of powerlifting, people view it as cheating and not a real bench press. But it's one of those things when you're in a competitive environment, especially if you're competing on like an international level, you do what you can within the rules in order to do the best. So
absolutely.
Well, I think we would all be any of us that powerlift would do it if we could do it well and it was advantageous to us. Nobody's choosing to not do it out of like principle of
taking the high moral ground.
Right. No, just like on extreme sumo deadlift setups, I would deadlift like that if I felt like I could do it well and deadlift more than I can conventional, but I can't, so I don't.
Exactly right. So
yeah. Okay.
So I'm going, I think overrated. I'm going to have to watch the episode back.
Yeah, this would be one of those tricky ones. Okay. Topic 3, overrated or underrated YouTube monetization?
So I think it's overrated in the sense here that it's a lot different than it used to be. People think just because you have a YouTube channel, especially one that has any sort of decent subscriber base, and maybe if you get a couple thousand views, I think people are under the misconception that you're getting paid a lot of money. So for me, some of my more popular videos early on were ones that I really kind of broke down how much I made from YouTube.
I remember those.
And what it really boiled down to was each view ends up being like 1/1000th of a cent. So for every like 1,000 views, I got paid like $1 or something like that. So even though if you have like a million view video, you're still not getting paid that much, and it's still kind of slim pickings. And especially in today's world, after Google bought YouTube and they have all these algorithms, which everyone likes to blame anytime something's not going right. Oh, they must have changed the algorithm, or the algorithm did this. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people have to look to alternate revenue streams, and that's where you see a lot of these partnerships with other companies where you have discount codes, affiliations, or even a lot of the very popular YouTubers these days rely on things like selling coaching plans or having apparel or things of that nature in order to drive their revenue up. And I think for most people, myself included, those kind of streams either equal or far exceed what you can make from YouTube views. Mm-hmm. I also think part of it is that the fitness space just doesn't pay as well as maybe some of these other things on here, like toy reviews and makeup tutorials, which I haven't crossed off my list of things to do. Who knows?
There's still a chance.
Okay, so overrated or underrated Santeria by Sublime, the song.
So, I laugh only because that is probably Sublime is something that I grew up with. So when they were getting really popular, it was like mid 90s to late 90s. And that's right when I was like in high school. So I was very fond of them and their music. I would say these days, I don't hear it as much. So I would say underrated, but if you were to ask me like 10, 15 years ago, I would probably say for sure it was overrated. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where a lot of people kind of got into Sublime after the lead singer died. Mm-hmm. And even today, I think people are still kind of like trying to cash in off their name because they have like, Sublime with Rome, and they had the Long Beach Dub All-Stars, and they had this and that. But I still think you put in some of their CDs, like 40 Ounces of Freedom, or even like their self-titled one, or some of the other ones, you can still play those from front to back, and they're still a good listen to me. Maybe that's the nostalgia talking and the old man talking in me, but I would say underrated for sure.
I think that's
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Very good logic on that answer. Yeah, I like that. So congratulations. That was your last topic. You passed the test. You did well. So well, in fact, that we're going to award you one J.D. Power and Associates trophy for your performance today.
Hey, I'll take it. Tell you what.
Do you have any YouTube play buttons?
I do. I have the old YouTube play button before they updated it. So
before it was cool.
Apart.
Okay. Is it what color is it?
So it's actually a clear piece of glass with a silver button attached to it. The problem is with the frame they sent it in. So it's like this clear glass and a frame. The frame is like falling apart. I don't think I've ever even really hung it up. It's just really janky. So this is before they had anything outside of 100,000 subscribers. So nowadays, I think it's like a solid, silver.
Yeah, it's like the platinum play button, isn't it?
On it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how far are you away from another one of what's the next level? Is it 1 million? Or?
So the next level, next one's 1 million.
Okay.
So 1 million, you get a bigger one. Then it's like 10 million or something like that. So I am a far cry away from any more.
Brandon, you're going to have the Massenomics boost after this, though. So don't rule it out here. Yeah, you can see upwards of 5 to 10 more people following you after this.
I would be genuinely shocked if someone knows who we are and they don't know who you are at this point.
Very true.
So it's funny because I was actually speaking of you guys. I was watching some Instagram stuff today, as I tend to do. And there was a guy on there basically, do you guys know what a Dinnie ring is?
A what?
A Dinnie ring. DINNIE.
Like, as in like the Dinnie Stones?
Yeah, so...
Okay, so that round ring yes, I do then, yes, yep.
Yeah, so there's this guy who's posting some stuff on that I follow, and he basically had 2 of those with, like a plate loaded thing with a whole bunch of plates on either side, and he's doing 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it just so was happening to do those in a Jefferson deadlift
Right.
stand.
Right. Yes.
So first thing I did, open up the comments. I'm reading there, like someone had to tag Massenomics. I don't think they did, so maybe I'm gonna have to go back and tag that. I don't know if that necessarily counts or not, but
yeah, I don't think mini Jefferson deadlifts make it onto the Instagram that we don't get tagged in at this point anymore, or very many short ads for training shorts that we don't get tagged in anymore too.
Yeah. What I want to know is when are the lift jorts coming out? I think that's going to be a hot seller.
That is pretty highly requested right now.
Yeah, you're definitely not the first person to ask that. The jorts concept or a lift shorts 3.0 are both high on a lot of people's priority lists. So
the actual feasibility of jorts it would be so hard though. Sizing denim for people.
Where do you source denim that's so perfectly built in that it can qualify for jorts?
Yeah.
You know, that's the real problem.
If there was if we could figure it out though, it would be certainly a win for us, I think. But that's a tough one.
Yeah. So maybe Arnold 2021 then.
Let's give us some time. Speaking of the Arnold, or kind of lifting conventions and that sort of thing in general, do you ever go to any of those? Like, do you purposely kind of not like those? Or I just don't recall seeing you post or share that being at any of those events like that.
Yeah, so I would love to go to the Arnold, but it's tough just because, as you mentioned, with the family, to sell my wife on going to Columbus, Ohio, in March or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In an overcrowded convention with a bunch of, no offense, because they're my audience too, but like meatheads who are smelly and just looking for free stuff. I mean, it's a tough sell, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We can relate to
that.
But
it would be fun to go. It's just one of those things is like, if I take a vacation, it's probably not on my top 3 things to do for vacation.
Yeah, that's fair. At this point in time, it's we have fun there. We get to meet a lot of people and that sort of thing, but it is very much a trip of work for us.
It is by no means a vacation.
No, it's not a party or
then you factor in that it's an 18-hour drive for us on top of that, and it's just
yeah.
I know. I mean, well, why would you ever want to leave Aberdeen? I mean, I don't know, but
we're a geographical oddity. 18 hours from everything. Yeah.
That's the Pearl of South Dakota, I heard.
That's right. Don't have to worry about anything else.
No,
it's all here.
That's very, very much right. All right, Brandon, I appreciate having you on. Tommy, did you have any other questions for you?
No. I guess thank you for your time. This was this was pretty fun.
Yeah. Where can everyone find you? And also, I know you're working with Pioneer. Now you're one of the official people there. So maybe mention that too, I guess. But also where everyone can get their Brandon Campbell fix at.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to follow me and my exploits, you can do so on YouTube. I've had so many different iterations of my name. You can probably just search Brandon Campbell, as you guys have mentioned, and it'll pop up. For things like Instagram or anything else, it's Basement Brandon. I'm fond of the basement. Currently training in a garage right now, but that'll be changed soon. Or just look for me on any Massenomics post because I hound them. So I'll just write comments on there and like stuff. So let's get a double post on there too, so that way we can both win with this.
Yes, definitely.
There we go.
One other question, as you said that, I got to ask you, anyone that we've had on that we've done both a rookie card and a Massenomics versus for, I like to know which one do you feel like is more prestigious, making it onto a Massenomics rookie card or making it into a Massenomics versus, of which you've done both.
Sure. So I think I talked to you guys on DM about this with the rookie cards, that it threw me off because it was like a Topps card technically, but then you had the rated rookie, which I think is Don Russ.
Yeah.
So, and seeing again how I'm the average man in this case, and you didn't put my total on the versus card. I'm going versus, guys. That way, people just assume that I must be strong since I made it on the Massenomics versus card, versus the rated rookie card where you're like, Braden has in total 1,200 pounds in his first meet. He's then gone on the total 1,205 pounds. Not as good of a morale booster for me on that one.
Right. That's fair. That's pretty fair. All right. And what is you do have do you have a code with Pioneer then? Is that the case?
I do. So
I just think it's worth our audience hearing, because we have a lot of Pioneer fans that listen. So
Yeah, Pioneer's been always great for me. And after a couple of years of just buying their stuff, fortunately enough, they let me work with them directly. So if anyone wants to save 10% on that, they can using the code BASEMENT.
It's a great code.
Yeah.
I know we need to get you guys some more, because I know you guys have a lot of great sponsors that I've listened to a lot, and I've used a lot of the sponsors you mentioned from. I'm assuming they're the same from the last episode.
Yes, they're the same. Yep.
Butt Inc. So you guys have Hybrid Performance, I believe, is one of yours too. So you guys have a lot of great partnerships there. So those come highly recommended for me for what it's worth. I don't have a code, so use Massenomics, except for the ones where you don't have codes.
Right. So, awesome. Well,
so I'm plugging you guys on your own podcast.
Hey,
what's going on?
We'll take whatever we can get, honestly. Make our sponsors happy. Maybe they'll renew again at that because of that. All right.
Maybe I'll sponsor you live from the basement.
There we go.
There we go. All right, Brandon. It was good to talk to you. We'll be following your exploits on YouTube as you continue, though.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks. See ya.
Yep. Bye.
Mr. Campbell Diamond
Mr.
himself.
Campbell / hyphenated Diamond.
The artist formerly known as Campbell.
Yeah.
That's a guy that we have known about for a very long time.
Yeah, that's I mean, we said it on there, but it's I just keep thinking about it. He real, this is what you would tell someone when they're your guest on your podcast. You're going to tell them good things, but it really is true. The same way what you said, that he is like the first one I started watching, and he is one of the few that I continue to watch
that I can tolerate.
Yeah, and I actually enjoy. I actually was just watching one of his last night. Before I went to bed, I was watching one. His meet. Well, I guess we forgot to ask him about his meet, but his passing recap. Out. Yeah, he passed out at his. I was just watching the recap on that. That, which is very funny to watch. I'm sure it's not funny for him, but watching someone that pass out action where he's kind of jolting alive.
Your body's obviously not working the way it's supposed to be.
But it is cool having people like that on the Massenomics podcast.
It is. It's fun.
Yeah. Look at what we've done.
Look what we're doing over here.
Pat ourselves on the back.
Oh, we are the best.
Okay. He did a good job on Overrated, Underrated too, I think, didn't he?
And we even said you might forget into question number 2 or 3. He was already forgetting what he said.
Should we review last week's Overrated,
We
Underrated
probably should.
topics with Michael Fahey?
Yeah.
Director of West Side vs. World. Topic number 1 was Netflix. What did Michael say?
He said underrated, didn't he? Didn't he?
I think so. Yes. The people said 54% overrated.
And I bet all 54 of them spend a lot of time. I bet all 54% of those people spend a lot of time on Netflix.
I was surprised that people voted that.
I kind of was a little
overrated.
bit too.
That's curious to me, but okay. Deadlift Suits. Michael said overrated. The people said 75% overrated.
That doesn't surprise me at all. It's Equip Powerlifting. So.
Yep. Kickstarter. Michael said overrated. The people said 75% overrated.
I would also imagine many of those people have it nothing to do with Kickstarter. But,
right. The last one, the Oscars. Michael said overrated. Do you know what the percentage was on this
when
one?
I
This
voted,
may be a new PR.
When I voted, it was 95 or something.
96% overrated.
Wow.
That is the biggest number I've ever seen on Overrated, Underrated before, I think.
People just don't agree with the Oscars.
Not a fan of the Oscars, for sure, I guess.
The Massenomics crowd does just not have the same taste as the Oscar selection committee.
I guess not. Oh.
But that's what we're for, right?
That's true.
We give them all the media recommendations they need here.
There's really, and we give out a lot of awards, J.D. Power and Associates awards.
Exactly.
So where else would they need to go?
We're the only award show you need here. We have just an unlimited bag of J.D. Power and Associates awards, and we're just ready to dump them out on everyone.
Give them to beverages. Give them to people that are on our show.
Yeah.
We'll give them to each other if we want to.
Yep.
This episode was brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use our discount code MASS in all caps for 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is the home of the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% off on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code MASS20 at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. Thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to Brandon for being on. I would note to make sure to check out our store. When this comes out, we'll be almost headed to the Arnold in just a couple days, and we have a new shirt to release at the Arnold. So the week you're hearing this, you will see our new shirt.
Yeah, it will.
Later
we
in
do
that
have.
week.
We do actually. We have a couple new things for the Arnold.
Yes.
So if there's things left, they'll be on the store. Otherwise, there might have to be a restock. But yeah, keep your eyes out. There will be something.
If there's anything left, you'll
be
be able to buy it right when we get home from the Arnold. So next week after hearing this. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you're listening to this, it is Arnold week. Make sure you come find us. What is our booth number, Tanner?
524.
524. We have a pretty banging display, so you're not going to miss us.
Oh, we're
on that corner
guys.
too, so you'll see us. But definitely come by, say hello, buy some stuff.
Even if you're not going to come buy some stuff, at least say hello.
At least come say hello.
If you're a fan of the show, humor us and say you want to get a picture with us, even though you don't even have to take a picture on the phone. Just act like you are. So then we're like, someone wants a picture with us. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just excited to see everyone. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, not excited for the drive.
No, not that part, but everything else. Maybe we'll come up with some good ideas.
Yeah,
that's what we'll do.
That's actually we did that last year.
That kind of the Jefferson deadlift was sort of.
That's the longest period of time we have all year to brainstorm.
It is. Yeah. It's kind of the Jefferson deadlift was sort of born on the way back last year.
Yeah, and that was big. We know how big that was.
Pretty much funds.
So you guys got a lot to look forward to from our drive. Tommy, where can they find you on Instagram?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
Make sure to follow the official Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics. That wraps up for 204. We'll catch you next time for 205.